Hey everybody, Joel Hoffman here. Going to talk a little bit about why we are asked to wear masks. Now, you may be against mask mandates, wearing them. You may be completely for them. This is about both sides of the debate, at least understanding the foundational reasons that scientists and doctors and epidemiologists ask us to wear masks. So first of all, I'm going to use hairspray in this demonstration. Now, why hairspray? And by the way, thanks Charles Ferguson, a friend of mine, for giving me the idea for using hairspray. Excellent analogy. Currently, we're told that coronavirus, the little guy, I mean, you'll see in some memes on Facebook, he's so small, he can go through the fiber fabric of your face mask without even blinking an eye. It's like a chain link fence to the little guy if he was traveling by himself, but he doesn't. He travels on water molecules, okay, in water molecules, okay. So just kind of like we fight malaria by going after the mosquito, currently we're told we fight the transmission of coronavirus by going after the water molecules that coronavirus transfers in, okay? So that's what we're going after. Okay, so there's two things. When we spew, do the masks protect us? Others spewing at us, do the masks protect us? When we put a mask on, are we protecting ourselves from COVID? The other question is, when we talk, when we sing, when we yell, and we're launching some spew. By the way, this whole idea of COVID traveling in the water molecules and using masks to fight the water molecules, this has been around for 9 months. That's just science and epidemiology has been telling us we want to stop spew. And if we can do that, we stop the little coronavirus particles that are inside of that, even the really small droplets. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to a friend of mine. His name is Frank Beard. Frank has agreed to do this little project with me. Now notice Frank is wearing his mask. You can't see his nose or his mouth. He's wearing it correctly. So we're going to try some things. Frank, thanks for joining us. I'm glad you're here. And I'm going to ask you, can I borrow those sunglasses? Because I want people to see what happens with your eyes. Is that okay? All right, great, thanks. So I'm going to use these sunglasses. It's kind of bright out here. So Frank and I are chatting. Frank's wearing a mask. I'm not. So as I talk and I yell and I speak, I'm spewing, almost sometimes invisible, sometimes visible. That's just gross. But I'm spewing water vapor, molecules, what they call aerosolized molecules, at Frank. Okay? So it's kind of like when I talk, this is what's happening. All right? So, yeah, it may seem like Frank is kind of protected, but when Frank breathes, all that spew that I'm launching at him, when he breathes, it's getting sucked in on the sides of this mask. And most importantly, it's going right into his eyes. Even Dr. Fauci said, you know, it'd be a good idea for all of us to wear shields to protect our eyes. So yeah, it's just burying his eyes. And it got all over his head and face. He touches his face, scratches his ear, and then he rubs his eye, and in it goes. So when I spew as I'm talking, does the mask protect Frank from me? No. The mask does not protect the wearer from COVID being transmitted by spew. Okay? Now, what about if I were also wearing a mask? Okay? Would Frank be protected if I wore a mask. So I'm going to take this mask off, Frank, and we're going to demonstrate this little thing. Frank, thanks for volunteering to join us in this little endeavor. So let's say I had a mask on and I went out into public. Remember, anytime I talk, I'm doing this. What if I wore a mask? Would others be protected from me? Yeah. And so very simply, we're asked to wear masks because as we talk and sing and yell, we spew. Those water droplets, if we're asymptomatic or whether we've got COVID live and just screaming in us, has to be transmitted by water molecules. So if I'm not wearing a mask, may not be symptomatic, but I have COVID in me, it's just spreading to everybody I walk near as I talk, as I sing, as I yell. Freely transferring from my mouth, being launched, being spewed into the air. But if I'm wearing a mask, the vast majority of those water droplets from me are prevented from spewing into the air. So what's the current science? What are the epidemiologists and the medical doctors telling us why we should wear masks? It's to prevent spew. I had one guy, sharp guy, tell me, I thought we were trying to stop the spread of coronavirus, not stop spew. You stop spew, you stop the spread of the coronavirus. Now, if you're for or against mask mandates, doesn't matter. At least when you debate this, don't say that the little COVID molecule is, when it sees a mask, it's like it's coming up to a chain link fence. Because the COVID molecule, the COVID particle, isn't by itself. It rides on a water molecule. And if we can stop the water molecule, we stop the little guy from launching out into the air. The purpose we wear masks, to prevent spew. So debate it, for sure. But when you debate it, at least debate it, understanding why we're asked to wear masks. We're asked to wear masks to prevent us from spewing water molecules out into the air and possibly reaching the eyes, nose, and mouth of others. Cool, go out and debate. Hey everybody, Joel Hoffman here. Going to show you a little demonstration of some things. See how this looks? Are you serious? Let's see. See how this looks.